Hello and welcome back to the Cronecast at the Rising Moon. My name is Elaine and this is the Spirit Guide Monthly for October 2022. I have to wait for a second for the stream to launch. Welcome back to so that I can kill the sound on YouTube. There is a close-up of the piles in the screenshot at the beginning. So the tag, the marker, the thumbnail for the actual broadcast has a close-up of the cards as well, but we're going to linger here for a moment. I hope everybody's doing really well today. I'm doing this a little bit earlier today because I have all sorts of weird scheduling stuff. Take a moment, select your pile. We have 4 piles in a pick-a-card presentation as per usual. Here comes the regularly scheduled bad sound, and I may have to adjust as per usual. I have remembered the tabletops. I hope you guys had a good September. It lived up to its billing, at least in my life, because we were supposed to be facing a bunch of challenges, both professionally and personally. And in fact, indeed, there were. It wasn't that it was bad. It's one of the 8 ways to be able to tell that you've healed is the way in which you kind of approach the challenges that life will always bring to us. It is easy to be your best self when everything's going your way. It is far more challenging when it feels like the fates have conspired against you. And has September felt a little bit like that for a lot of people? I think it did. October's early draw, because I do a draw for the titles, actually looked like we're going to have a payoff in an increase in psychic abilities. So have I got my camera angle right? I've got it right enough that we're just going to get going here with pile number 1. Gilded Tarot will be bringing you a predictive spread. As per usual, there are people on motorcycles riding by very, very loudly. The deal is that at the end of this street, because I live off of a fairly busy road, there is a vegan restaurant and next to it is a biker bar. And it's like they have a culture war going. And whenever the bikes are peeling out, it's like they rev them really, really loudly and go up the street very, very loudly in order to tick off the vegan restaurant people. So here we go. Pile number 1, October 2022. Oh, hey, quick channel announcement before I begin. Timestamps, as always, will be edited in after the broadcast. But I will be doing a form of daily tower or a spirit guide daily in the month of November. We'll see how it goes. If you like it, I'll keep it up. And they will be timeless readings, but there'll be one posted every day for about 5 minutes. It's not going to be anywhere near like this. All right, so Become a Shapeshifter is your first oracle card. Hey, this is adaptability. This is being able to go with the flow in any given situation. It can be very challenging to rise to the needs of the moment, but one of the indications of this is that you will have the ability to flow into the shape, into the form that is required of you as you meet challenges. I have fragmented energy. Remember, try to align. Make sure that you're grounding on a regular basis as well. It helps tremendously with honing your psychic abilities, tuning in your psychic eye. We all have guidance available to us, and the greater steps that we take towards kind of focusing that psychic eye, the more guidance we will be able to apply to our daily life, the better outcomes we'll have. And including when I was talking about challenges and how it was a month of some challenges last month, kind of everything that I've been led through in the last couple of years helped me tremendously. There were things that happened that if they'd happened as little as 2 or 3 years ago, I would have freaked all the way out. You would have heard me where you are. And instead, it was kind of a case of like, oh, well, all right, everything will be all right. I can deal with this. I have Take the Lead. In fact, we have a leaders collective, people who are very gifted in healing. There is a reason that you are different than other people. You have your own gifts. In fact, this should be a collective of people who are naturally celestial and angelic magic practitioners. We'll get around to teaching that once I gather more people, but it's a discipline that is added into somebody else's magical discipline. So usually it's used through a folk expression, sometimes a hoodoo expression. It is the magic of miracles. It's the magic for healers. It is the magic that comes back into reality in a stronger form when there's an energetic imbalance. We have New Life. Okay, that's new beginnings. Take the lead, shapeshifter. Be flexible in your desired outcomes. Remember, have hope for the future. Leave it a little bit open-ended so the universe can fill in the details. With mending, I have this weird feeling like after a challenging, I kind of want to say 4-month period or so, like the fates are conspiring to make things better. in October, because I think a lot of people are just like, oh my goodness, I am being tested. But remember, it is easy to have faith. It is easy to feel connected. It is easy to feel the resonance of the divine in your life when everything is going your way. You are who you really are is contained in when you don't have what you want, when things aren't going your way. Who are you then? That is your true character. Your ability to control yourself is about controlling your ability to manifest and controlling your power. And it doesn't mean you will always be in an energy that is thwarted or denied, just that there is worth in that journey, in not being able to make things work out, not being able to make progress, and continuing to focus on who you wish to be in this world. Because who you wish to be in this world is absolute, whereas the circumstances of life are ever fluid and ever evolving and ever changing. Angels of the four directions. And in fact, that's what I invoke when I am doing celestial and angelic magic. That those are the elements of air, earth, fire, and water, and they all have a different guardian angel who is appointed to the kind of the mastering of that element. Michael is earth, Gabriel, which is what I'm attached to, is air, Raphael is water, and Uriel is fire. With hidden motivations. Okay, so the hidden motivations with angels of the four directions, please remember that even if you do not understand the plan, there's a plan. Even if, as I was just sharing, like it seems like, well, for me, September almost seemed to be conspiring against me. And it was to help me see a lot of progress and achieve even more in various areas that I've been trying to heal. Because as somebody who has CPTSD, as somebody who's an abuse survivor, struggling with emotional regulation was one of, and I do use was intentionally, was a big challenge for me on the other side of a ton of trauma. And it's something that I've mastered. Does it mean that I'm some like even keeled, peaceful person? I am not meant to be, and I never will be, but I am in control of my emotions and my reactions, which is what it takes to have a good series of outcomes. All outcomes are improved when we have control of ourselves. Just accidentally looked at your cookie card, didn't actually read it though. I'm pretty sure I know what it says. I'm not going to incorporate it into this until after the end. The angel answer in the cookie card, the premise behind this is if you have a question that I did not answer throughout the course of this reading, the angel answer in the cookie card have the information for you. God is in your archetype cards, which is the benevolent and compassionate, recognizing of eternal forces within yourself and others. And the shadow attribute is despotism and cruelty, using power to control people. Organized religion quite frequently they're misusing faith as a power structure to try and gain more power, sometimes more wealth, sometimes more power. Your true connection with the divine, and this is for anybody of any faith, whether or not you practice one, it comes through you. Every other go-between is a structure that was put in place either to teach or to control, but your truest connection to the divine, to source, is through you. You do not need go-betweens to truly feel the resonance. And then the other archetype card is networker. Light attributes enhances unity through sharing of information, engenders social awareness and empathy. I'll always try to have compassion for people even when you don't agree with them. Even if you can't see where they're coming from at all, remember they're still a person and they were formed by their own experiences. And even if they are misguided from your viewpoint, they're still a human being. And even if they've lost the plot a little bit, try to have compassion. Compassion heals. Shadow attributes conveys information only for personal gain, spreads fear and falsehood. Be careful of leaders in, oh, wow. Be careful of leadership in October. Remember, the existing power structures are mostly trying to hold on to power. If there's a bunch of challenges to them, again, examine things from their true agenda. And again, your connection to source is the thing that will really inform your choices. I just have a little bit of like with that fragmented energy and the God and the networker, we got some movers and shakers, and some of them have less pure motives than others. I have nourishment. Hey, I was sharing this with a friend of mine, is that like whenever I get stressed out, I struggle with eating. Like it's a lifelong battle for me. Some people, and I don't mean I eat too much, I mean I don't like to eat. And it is something that you have to remind yourself, food is fuel. It will make stress worse. Try to live as healthfully as you can in all areas. But remember, This is a life we are meant to experience. Indulgence does actually hold a place. We don't have to do everything that's just good, 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 good for us. If you like want to do something like give up sugar, make sure it's because, I'm experiencing some inflammation. I'm not sleeping well. I don't like the way my skin looks. I don't like the impact this is having on me. Versus I read in an article that I'm doing something bad for me, even though I feel perfectly well. We do need darker energies. We do need counterbalancing energies. We are not meant to be vice free. Now, we're not meant to be ruled by them either. But as I'm always sharing here, I actually don't believe we're here to transcend this experience. There's plenty of time to be non-corporeal. While you're here, get your butt down here and participate. And that involves understanding the impulses of this 3D world, which does mean some darker energy, which can mean indulgences. And then worry is a wasted emotion. This is very true. Don't mistake problem solving, like kind of targeted problem solving, for worry. That worry is stewing and just going over the same thing over and over again. Problem solving is I'm thinking something through, making a list of possible solutions and deciding what I would do in the worst case scenario. And there's always an answer available to you. As I said, October's early draw showed like a clear and open psychic eye. Whenever you find yourself freaking out over something, I've been sharing this with my clients a lot. One of the best things to listen to for people who are prone to anxiety, and trauma survivors almost always are, is brown noise. White noise can exacerbate anxiety. It does have a slightly higher pitch that can exacerbate anxiety. Brown noise helps chill out an overactive mind. When you start to worry, when you start to freak out, work on your root chakra. Inner Lotus Healing Music, Meditative Mind, Jason Stevenson are the channels that I like the most. Do that for about 20 minutes. Listen to a brown noise generator for about 5 minutes, and then meditate asking for answers. Do not sit and stew. It does not actually bring answers. And if you think it has in the past, it hasn't. It's actually blocked them out. The answers were going to come to you anyway. Try to get into a receptive state when you're asking for guidance. This is the Gilded Tarot. I forgot for a second. I have so many tarot decks. I had somebody here in my apartment and they were just like, have much of a deck problem, do you? Yeah, just a little bit. All right, what just came out is the King of Wands in reverse for the Querent card, the Lovers in the upright, which is the Gemini card in the crossing situation, the Hanged Man in the upright, the Devil in reverse in the recent past. Boy, that's a little bit of a triggering energy, but it's like you've learned the strong choices of how to take that beat. The whole idea behind responding, not reacting, is that you are not at the whim of your emotions. And when you're not at the whim of your emotions, it has nothing to do with repressing them, by the way. Like, you're still aware of them. I did have something happen the other day where I was so mad. I'm like, sure, something 5 miles from here just spontaneously caught fire because I was just infuriated. But it didn't guide my actions or spoil much of anything. I was just kind of like, wow, that made me angry. And I won't share with you what it was because it's just a vaguely personal and vaguely stupid thing. But I was, more than anything, I was very aware that my emotions, while there, were in the background informing my perception of the other person's motives versus guiding my actions. And that is responding, not reacting. And it is key to controlling all of your gifts, all of your personal power, your ability to manifest, your ability to do anything revolves around being able to contain, understand, control, and target your personal power. Let's get going here for the rest of October for group number 1. I'm so proud of actually remembering that tabletop. I hope I don't leave it out for all 4 piles or something. The other ones are underneath my phone. There we go. 2 of Wands in reverse is making a plan, committing to it, being careful with your choices. Straight up, it's like there's a high road and a low road over and over again in October. And you're going to have a lot of angelic assistance, a lot of angelic assistance in mastering exactly what I was just talking about. Your emotions, which are connected to your intuition, will help you understand what somebody else in an encounter, what they might be trying to achieve. Like, if you're getting angry at somebody in an encounter, they're probably trying to make you angry. It's either triggering something from the past, which you should be aware of, or somebody is purposely tromping all over your boundaries. And deciding not to respond to that, rather simply observing it as well, that tells me who you are, but I know who I am going forward, and it doesn't matter. I do not match energy with people. I maintain my own. That's being healed as well. With the Judgment card in the upright, judgment, life's purpose, things being brought to light, soul searching, being brought from the darkness into the light is also the card for the Archangel Gabriel. So that's a lot of truth, a lot of clarity, a lot of purposeful information being brought to you in October. Page Cups in the upright, yay, that's the start of something new, emotionally pleasing. It can be something that causes your emotions to flow, but it's in the upright, which I like a lot. And there's that Ace of Wands in reverse, trigger, trigger, trigger. King of Wands in reverse, Ace of Wands in reverse is some frustration that is some spark to anger. But remember, when you're really in a healed energy, your anger is not destructive. Instead, it fuels the fire of creation. That is what the real point of anger is. Anger is not your enemy. When it starts to control your actions, it becomes a destructive force in your life. When it starts to inform your understanding of yourself and others, it becomes part of your power. I have the Two of Pentacles in the upright and the hopes and fears. It's a very balanced kind of energy. I have the Eight of Cups in the upright, which is kind of a moving on type energy. It can be that there may be a trip in your future, but the Eight of Cups is leaving the broken things of the past behind, seeking more fulfillment. And it comes out with the Emperor in reverse, an abuse of power. I, of course, am always hopeful that that's, Putin getting the heck out of Ukraine. We have a lot of like authoritarian grumbling around the globe right now. Let's see what comes out next with the Nine of Pentacles in the upright, which is a card of privilege and individuality and receiving and being very admired as well. I can't tell if that's a returning energy or not. I have the Five of Wands in the upright, which is a struggle and a conflict. We have a little bit more of that coming up through the fall, but it is struggle and conflict versus like, be afraid. It is, I keep referring to it as skirmishes, like people, there's a lot of contentious energy, but it does not appear to be particularly destructive. High Priestess in reverse, the Sun in the upright, yay. Mental clarity will be yours throughout multiple challenging situations. Please don't hear challenging situation and go, oh my God, the universe hates me. Will you ever quit kicking my butt? They're not trying to kick your butt. They're trying to help you gain abilities to be able to still have a lot of control in situations of yourself, of your outcomes, of your emotions. And there's a lot of clarity around that. You're going to feel very healed. So expect some minor irritations that might have blown up your world in the past. It's an opportunity to feel proud of yourself on your healing journey and on the progress that you've made. Four Swords in the upright, Chariot in reverse, King of Swords in reverse. Well, I kind of think somebody's coming back into your life. They don't have the best motives. There's somebody who may have caused you pain in the past. This is the opportunity for you to feel strong, large, and in charge. It will differ from person to person. It's general reading. It's always going to. But it's like you've reached another level of expertise throughout October. And particularly as you head into the 31st and November 1st and November 2nd, these are all key dates around contacting your guides, your ancestors, receiving extra guidance. The veil is thinnest. It will also allow you to release the lessons of the last year and to ask for more guidance and for more assistance in the coming year. I don't party on Halloween. I kind of treat it like it's a reverent time because it is. Set up a simmer pot with what you're trying to manifest in the course of the next calendar year, because in a lot of belief systems, Halloween or All Hallows or Samhain, whichever you wish to use, is a little bit of like has a New Year energy because a cycle is going dormant. It will rest for 4 months or 3 months, and then spring will come again. During that like dormant time, you are shoring up the energies to carry you through a fertile season. Release the lessons and the difficulties of this last generative spirit. And as you're kind of in that downtime, as you head into like the after harvest season, invite more energy into your life for expansion and growth. Release, go back through, do a year in review basically around Halloween. It helps because it will allow you to examine and to release the lessons of the past. Six of Swords in the upright, leaving a difficult situation behind. Four of Pentacles in the upright. Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Five of Cups in the upright. Okay, some This is just not going to come as a shock if you're all ever watching world events. There's a lot of stuff going on. There are people being lost to all sorts of difficulties. And that energy of October is that it will not be completely gone, but the lessons that are being learned from it, the progresses being made will be visible at long last. So we'll kind of start getting if you've been wondering in the last 2022, has just been a butt kicker for so many people. If you've sort of been wondering, like, has the universe lost the plot? Am I in this by myself? No, you're actually going to be able to, as often happens, look back and realize that happened to aid this, to make that possible. You're going to connect the dots. You will see the connective tissue in what they were trying to build for you, and you'll start to glimpse what the next part of your life is going to be about. And it's going to be a bigger span of years than you might think. It's not one single growing season. You're actually closing out a period of about 6-7 years of transitioning to the newest form of yourself. All right, guys, let's keep going here. What else do I have? Very good money energy, a lot of frustration surrounding it, though, meaning like you're going to be tested within your work environments. But I have good outcomes on that. I have great creative energy. I have the end of a difficult period. Not a lot of gatherings, but like good friendship is in these cards. It seems very one-on-one versus very group-oriented, which makes sense. Very sensitive or psychic people very frequently are introverted because groups make us very, very, very uncomfortable. The golem, a close friend acts on your behalf. Like I said, there's a lot of friendship. Let me get one more from this deck. This is the Endora fortune telling deck, I think. I can't remember the names sometimes because I'm literally surrounded by a library of them. Let your intentions be known with the minstrel. It just kind of feels like there's a lot of opportunity with that leadership energy. Worry is a wasted emotion. Take the lead. Nourishment, new life, mending. Oh, talisman is you're destined to, I didn't even realize that was out here. Talisman, you're destined to succeed. Please don't forget that. If you have been being told for a while, you're going to succeed. Oh my God, so much success is going to be yours. Abundance, opulence, you name it, it's yours. You got it. And you're like, I feel like I've been stood up at the altar. What we don't realize is that success carries with it its very own brand of stress. So you've been being trained to handle something that if you haven't experienced it before, you don't know what it's going to feel like. But if you're in this very control of yourself, I have my power, it is mine, it is not yours, and you cannot tweak me out enough that I start giving it to you. If you have that feeling of being the master of your own domain, then success allows some of the negative qualities that come with success, because there are a lot of them. Whenever I have a video that does really well, it's like internet troll bait. I have had my appearance, my talents, my dogs insulted. The one about my dogs just like made me laugh. But it will happen. Whenever you are doing well, whenever you're creating something, whenever something is expanding, there are people who, instead of doing their own work, become angry with those who have done theirs. And so there will always be this undermining influence that is part of a darker collective, because there is a darker collective as well as a light collective that will kind of come in and try to like pop your balloon, poke you until you scream. And that is what this period leading up to actual success has been about, is learning how to deal, knowing who you are throughout adversity is incredibly important. Knowing who you are when you're not getting what you want. And then all of that is about kind of like building the muscle mass to be strong enough to kind of handle the attacks that come with doing well. Because you still want to be you, you still want to be accessible, but at a moment's notice, when you are around somebody with these hidden motivations, that bad intent, you need to be able to throw up a shield. You'll have multiple opportunities in the month of October to know exactly what I'm talking about, where you're like, yeah, my armor comes on like I'm a transformer. Who the heck knew? You're able to switch on what you need and have access to what you need. The needs of the moment will effortlessly come to you. Let's get an affirmation stack. Somebody asked me what the title of this was in a comment, one of the nice people. And it was, it's like the Purple Canyon Wellness Affirmations cards or something. It is the longest title in the world, but if you can remember Purple Canyon, if you're interested in this deck. Again, I don't get anything when you buy those things. It's just that we're all, a lot of people here If you like tarot, you're very likely to start buying decks. So that's why I talk about the decks as much as I do. Let's get something for pile number 1, October 2022. What do we have? We have a snoring dog in the background if you hear anything funny. Hi. Okay. Gratitude. All humans suffer, and I find this idea revolutionary and freeing because the people who I envy, admire, and idolize suffer just as I do. So I choose overwhelming gratitude for my life and for all that I need. There's a slight miscommunication on that card. They do not suffer just as you do, but they do suffer. Suffering is not a contest, for one thing. But if you really honestly think that the people that you admire, that the people you think have more, that they do not have their own struggles and their own pain, they do. Most people, particularly successful people, have been like kind of conditioned to be able to have that, shield so that nobody sees them sweat. When I was talking about the stress of success, you're seeing the manifestations of it in people who they have all their own problems. They all have all their own sorrow. Money wears out quickly as the thing that will make you happy. Honest to goodness, I've lived in incredibly affluent areas and I've lived in very humble circumstances as well. And the thing that I noticed was that in very affluent circumstances, the people are uniquely unhappy. They don't have smaller joys that they can indulge in. Because everything comes easily to them in a material sense, it actually makes their emotional world have fewer outlets. Indulging your material needs is not actually a healing thing. It's nice for like, I have this new bag. I like my new car. Look at my house. But sooner or later, it's just the house you're living in, the car you're driving, the bag you're carrying. It does not have an emotional resonance with them. So being prepared for success so that you have learned how to be in control, happy, connected to your divine source and to your guides without all of the trappings of success around it prepares you for the strange pressure that comes with success. Playful. Most outgrow certain behaviors from childhood, but I give myself permission to cherish my curiosity and wonder, to find magic in the mundane is a spectacular power. The world is not all black and white, for there is color everywhere I look. This is very, very true. Please give yourself permission to be goofy, to have fun. One of the things I love about being single and living by myself is I am the biggest goof. I kind of do whatever I feel like doing. Sometimes I'll have absolutely absurd foods because, like I said, I struggle with wanting to eat. Remember to embrace the idea, because remember when you're like a little kid and you thought, when I'm an adult, I'm going to do whatever I want. If I want to eat a whole package of cookies, I will. And we learn how to moderate our behavior. But when we moderate our behavior, we're not meant to lose the easy joy that comes with investing in the moment. And kids are always very good at investing in the moment. Remember to go back to the ages between 7 and 9, and you've had a lot of, and I had a lot of trauma. So like but my life was not just a veil of tears. I had books. I had a wonderful inner world. I spent almost all my time by myself. And I had a very, very good experience. I had an imaginative world. Do not let that part of you go by the wayside. It's there for a reason. The goofy things about you are as important as the gifted things about you. If you want to have more resonant connection with your life and to feel joy in your life, find the ways to be silly, because we take life that little bit too seriously. We genuinely do. Almost everything does pass. Sometimes it takes longer than others. And I'm not saying that dismissively. I genuinely have had, as many people here in this collective have had, extremely difficult circumstances that I was like, I'm never going to get through this. This is awful. Everything is ending. And I learned over the course of time to be like, hey, this will get better over the course of time. No matter how horrible it feels right now, it's not permanent. Nothing in life is truly permanent. Not our emotions, not our circumstances, not our appearances, nothing. And that can be distressing or it can be liberating, because it means that whatever difficulty you're going through, eventually you will have different challenges or blessings. Nothing is permanent. Don't overly invest in the struggles of the moment. And that is, honest to goodness, what I think September has been trying to teach me. It's like, wow, it honestly felt like if I was trying to walk down the road, it blew up or disappeared. It was just kind of like, well, that avenue is closed to me as well, I suppose. And just trying to roll with going with the flow. Like most magic practitioners, I have a problem with always wanting to create the flow, which means that the universe has trouble bringing me the things it wants to. And all of September and through most of 2022, I don't know about you, but it seems like it's been a great big go with the flow university. Slow and steady. Self-worth. Take a risk. Take control. Stuck. I'm putting one more on that. I'm getting the feeling ego death. I'm putting these two back. I think you achieved that already. But if you were wondering what kind of, let's talk a little bit about ego death really quickly. Group number one, what the heck is ego death? It is understanding that your happiness is not completely at the whim of having what you want. That sometimes we want things that aren't good for us, or people that aren't good for us, or circumstances. Don't focus on, I don't have what I want, therefore I am not happy. Rather, what am I missing that may be making me happy? I look at myself and I see myself as I am, accountable for my detractions, the things I'm trying to improve, and they're not character flaws. They are the areas we're trying to expand and improve, and we're meant to have them. Every single person you will ever meet has them. You are not being scolded when you're being told you need to have an ego death to try and improve certain areas of your life. For me, mine would always be my big boom bam temper, which I have worked on and worked on and worked on. And I feel like I have it in a pretty good. Could it be better? Yeah, I don't think I'm ever going to be a mild person. I don't think I'm meant to be. But I have it at a level that kind of fuels my experience rather than blows up my bridges. Here we go. Let's get a fortune card for group number one. We're gonna get some energy cards, some enchanted map cards. Then we're gonna move on to the live stuff. Then we're gonna get on out of here. All right, flowers, be generous, success and emotional fulfillment are yours. Please remember that. If you've been told and told and told something is coming, the universe is not punking you. Keep doing your work, it'll catch you. Find that which is joyful in every single day, and you'll be having a great experience whether or not you have what you want. That's really the secret of life, being happy. Here we go. Let's get going with the Higher Love Oracle card. We're gonna get 3 from these and then move to the energy cards, 1 and 2. That mending, I'm telling you, it's gonna be, healing is a little bit like growing up. Where you know how like you like see a relative or a friend and they'll be like, I can't believe how big you've gotten. It's like, yeah, I grow abnormal. I'm a kid. And it was always so astonishing to them. It's because you only see those things as like isolated incidents. There has to be that contrast. There's a lot of contrast in how healed you are, and you're being asked to remember to focus on that part. Dominating relationship. That's that person coming back. Special knowledge in school, new skills, new inspiration, achievement, and success. Lots of success energy. Lots of, you've been training for a little while, potentially to have an encounter with somebody that you really need to release from your life. But you want to go out of that relationship in a very, very powerful energy. Let's go enchanted map. What enchanted map cards do we have for group number one? What's the enchanted map cards for group number one? I don't think you have to take any special steps to try and fuel this like really strong intuition vibe. Money's good, frustrations all over the place, employment energy quite good. Access to guides is just like, even leading into the Day of the Dead, even leading into that it's enhanced throughout the month of October. Like, you know how people are always like, I can't believe it's dark at 6 o'clock at night or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I love that time. The darkness actually does allow for, because your mind's eye focuses within rather than without when it's dark. All right, here we go. Slow and steady. Got that twice. Ghostlands. Somebody's coming back, my friends. One Ring Circus, that's being in charge of everything. Dry Desert, and then Protecting Treasure, Ride the Wave. I'm only going to take those 3 because that's repetitive, saying exactly what we've been hearing over and over again, which is that you are protected. You are on a journey. It might not be taking the pace that you want, but you have been tested around whether or not you can stay the course, even when things are not materializing instantly, because kind of healing that need for instant gratification is one of the ways that we heal anxiety and trauma issues. For that person coming back from the past, it's kind of like it's funny. It's like this person would have thrown a party if you'd crashed and burned, but you didn't, and they did. And so they've achieved something that you didn't think was possible, which was actual perspective. That doesn't mean they're meant to be in your life, but it frees you from something. It frees you from something. Here we go. Let's go for the energy cards for October 2022. Hello. Angel of Love, self-love. It's also love coming towards you. This Page of Cups energy can be that. I don't have any of the, oh, man holding a coin. If I keep making that face, it's that figure, this authoritarian figure returning into, remember, the global energy and the personal energy is all the exact same energy. It just manifests at the personal level within your life. There's this like dictatorial energy around that. Adjacent possibilities. They're not going to tell me the rest. This chakra, Archangel Gabriel, you're not going to get a cheat sheet on this encounter. How does it turn out? Well, you have a lot of power in that, but everything suggests that it turns out well. Let's get a couple from Tedra's deck. Link to buy this in the description box down below. I don't receive anything if you do, but I just love this deck. Sound like a fool every time I'm trying to read it because it's not in the vernacular in which I normally speak. But it's dead on as an oracle card for telling you about particularly personal energies and personal encounters. Brilliant idea. Real love, gaslighting. Be careful. Divinely timed prosperity. I think that there are multiple indications around you of you kind of being large and in charge, and somebody who, like I said, they've been gaining perspective on that. Like the fact that you're doing really well and they are not, and you are doing better than you think you are. Here and now, that's the being present in the moment. Like there's somebody from your past who has regrets. And I can't tell if they're sincere, but that gaslighting energy suggests that maybe they've just learned how to don a different mask with that hidden motivations. Be a little on your toes. Here and now, integrity. Interference, which is a third party card, decision, passion. Here and now, the here and now card says your true love is already a part of your life. Now, I'm a keyword reader on almost everything. I rarely read, except for these wellness cards, I really don't read the details too much. But like I said, interference and decision. I think that you're being given an opportunity to clear an obstacle out of your path, and that obstacle is unresolved feelings about a prior relationship. Be prepared. That person's going to look very puny to you. You're going to be feeling pretty mighty. Let's go for the wellness cards, and we'll get an angel, a romance angel, and then we'll get your angel answer and your cookie card, and we'll move on to pile number 2. Sorry, these always stretch on so much. I just like to get as much emotional and energetic information as I can. Palm trees, stability, security, permanence, growth, endurance, and flexibility. Lots of good, secure energy around this. That's destined to succeed energy as well. Clock, needs time, takes time, in time, cycles, time to heal, and progress. Hammer, sabotage, rebuilding, interrogation, repetitive, persistent, working on it. With cassette, outdated thinking, conditioning, replaying events over in your head. I think that you are breaking out of a long time pattern in October 2022. It is a general reading, so it will take different forms for different people. Let's get your angel answer card. Peaceful resolution. Oh God, please. We have so many areas in the world that a peaceful resolution would be very, very welcome indeed. And I did see it correctly. Love. So you got a lot coming up in an emotional capacity. You got somebody from your past who is likely coming to you in a form or fashion, potentially trying to make amends. Trust your intuition. You got a lot of messages about your psychic eye being very open. I don't think you're too forgiving. I don't. But I think that you see the best in people. And that sometimes the people who have used you in the past are very aware of your good nature versus their schemes. Okay. All right, group number 1. Hey, that was your reading. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you again in dear heaven help us November. The 2022 is making its exit slowly. Enjoy the month. It looks like an awesome one. Let's get going on to pile number 2. Timestamps will be edited in after the broadcast. Hey guys, remember, I really can't interact because I take my glasses off for this, because for a big general read when I'm doing it live, for whatever reason, I can read much better. Not being able to focus on one detail allows me to focus on all the details, I guess. All right, guys, this is the Silver Witch Tower. I brought out all the old war horses for this one. I don't know why, maybe because September felt like a little bit of a battle. And I was like, where are the veterans? All right, commitment. Status quo commitment. That is from the Quantum Oracle. Remember, angel answers, cookie cards at the end of the reading. If you had a question that I did not answer, hopefully these cards will. That same kind of maddening, like spinning your wheels energy is on this. I want to see where that commitment card is going, because it could be business, it could be personal, it could be both. Servant. The light attribute, this is the archetype cards. This is the shadow work that you may be called to do, or the higher aspect of yourself you're trying to connect with throughout the course of the month. Servant, light attribute is delight in serving others with a free and loving heart. The shadow attribute is using the lack of money as an excuse not to move forward in life. Little bit of both on that one. And like, whenever I get this and like people are like, I can't do anything, I don't have any money. This is true. You can't engage in activities like going on vacation or buying things, or a lot of the things that we associate with moving on with life. I guess that the moving on with life with this, try to take the perspective that you have control over how you approach being alive, whether or not your bank balance says that you're going to be sitting pretty. You can still enjoy every single day, even if you don't have what you want. And then delight in serving others. Approach the world kindly. I swear to you, it will make you feel differently about yourself, about others, about the future. Gossip. Light attribute awakens consideration for the feelings of other, honor and trusts. Shadow attributes thrives on power of passing on private or secret information, betraying confidences. Little bit of a heads up about being circumspect, being kind of guarded in who you trust with things. One of the things about what I do is that even though I'll use examples from my clients and everything, I have to be everybody's secret keeper because they trust me to look into their psychic world. I need to be. It's like the bottom line of integrity in doing this. Let's see, what else do we have? We have creation from the goddess of the moon energy. Lots of new beginnings. I think there's a new relationship coming to you. Focus and then act. This is the kind of the condensation of the idea of responding, not reacting. And why does that get like hammered on so much? Because when you react, you are at the whim of others. When you respond, you are in control of your power. And it's kind of just that simple. When you can kind of stop and be like, oh, that just made me sad, that just made me happy, that just made me angry, but it does not control your response. It does not then take over your actions. The other person has so much less power over you. And I work with so many abuse victims and people who are recovering from trauma or difficult circumstances. That is the key to peace. All right. Inspire others. Well, that's that servant energy as well. Be the change, man. So this is the easiest way to cut it down to a bite-sized piece. If you don't like what's going on in the world, like the way you act within the world more and change it. Approach others. If you approach other people kindly and in a friendly fashion, it's rare that you don't get the same energy in return. Now, some people have hateful problems, and just kind of shutting down and doing what you need to do is appropriate there. You can't ever yell somebody into a different viewpoint. People stop listening when things get loud. We have, forbidden. What's going on there? What's forbidden? I don't know yet. All right, nurture yourself first. When we learn to have a loving relationship with ourselves as our, like the first important relationship, our first primary relationship is with us. It means that we're not looking to somebody else to take care of our emotional needs for us. And again, that's about somebody not having power over you. Somebody can be in your life and be important to you, and like you envision doing your whole journey with them, and that's appropriate. but needing somebody because you don't feel safe by yourself, you think they help manage your moods or settle things down for you, or only they know how to talk you down from a ledge. That is not true. You contain that power. And it is not terrible to have a person in your life you can rely on for that sort of support, because we all need it sometimes. But primarily, you need to be the person who's able to take care of you. And it will make all of your relationships stronger and better and so much more fun. We have by the book, regeneration. It's like there's you'll see the method to the madness in October. I don't have a lot of challenges around this yet. I don't. I have a lot of like flowing emotions where you have constructed a very healthy dam. Let's go with the Silver Witch Tower. I'm not sure I've touched this deck in 4 months, which is good. It always gets a good clear energy on that. It's coming up for group number 2. I did put out my tabletop. Oh my God, it's a miracle. All right, the Star in reverse, which can be something seeming that is beyond reach. It can be the card for a loss of hope. It can be the beginning of a new and hopeful cycle. It's the Aquarius card, but in reverse, the cards rarely are pointing out an astrological sign. We have, oh, by the way, if you have any requests for pick a card readings or anything, drop them in the comment sections down below. Like I actually do, when I get a suggestion, it's very likely that I will do it. We have ones coming up on career, on red flags, on there's a couple other ones. I'm spacing on my own titles. Maybe I'm not supposed to share them yet. Let's go for October 2022 for group number 2. My blood sugar's low or something. I'm like, I can't think. All right, the High Priestess in the upright, which is being connected to the feminine divine. It is secrets. It is intrigue. A very feminine energy there. Temperance in reverse. Everybody's got their, like, you know, if you're not a little frustrated, then you had a different September than everybody else in this collective. King of Pentacles in the upright in the recent past. Now, remember, the King of Pentacles can be Capricorn, Virgo, or Taurus. It can be a man of business. But in tarot, gender actually truly is meaningless. And this can simply be business. There is a frustration around your professional path here. 4 of Pentacles in the upright, telling you to hold on tight, because Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Little bit of a strange emotional energy around this. I have the 8 of, thank goodness you didn't fall all the way. No, you did. I'm disappearing, but I'm coming back. Angel answers, took a leap. It was like, I'm goodbye, cruel world. 8 of Wands in the upright is progress. Hey, listen, stuttering energy at the beginning of the month, not going to get things flowing until about the 7th. A lot of emotional upheaval for this particular group, and then I think it gets quite good after that. Yeah, it does. 5 of Cups in reverse, which is making the most of things, seeing that which remains, focusing on the right things. It will help with all of your outcomes, by the way, if you kind of choose your emotional direction. And by the way, that is not the same thing as emotional repression. You can like rage, throw stuff. I really wouldn't suggest that because it's not a good idea. But you can get angry and bemoan your fate and like catalog that. I'm so mad about this. I'm so mad about that. How dare you with that? And then kind of like, but on the other hand, and that's the key. That's the key, is stopping and gaining better perspective. And I think that there is an end to a frustrating cycle for you by October 7th. 10 of Pentacles in the upright, it really might be about money. Like you really might be like, where is everything? With the 6 of Pentacles in the upright, which is everything being brought into a balanced state. However October begins for you monetarily, everything's in a good balance by the end of it. If you're wondering why this had to be a part of your journey, it's because you might focus on it just that little bit too much as being the thing where if I have enough money, I'll be fine, I'll be safe, I'll be happy. Listen, having your needs provided for is important, but it can't be the key to everything, because at the end of the day, it is this very unfulfilling energy. It contains no emotional fulfillment. It is fairly empty. And so like maybe there has been a push and pull energy on that to try and kind of shake you loose from, it's like, okay, now you don't know what you want, but what are you happy about? Well, you try and find something to be happy about. It's still there. And why? It's not because you're going to be a pauper. It's because as this energy comes in, as more and more money comes into your life, as the abundance you've been promised comes to you, you don't want to actually end up in the, why am I not happy? I was happy for like 6 weeks when I was buying everything I wanted. It's because the actual happiness comes from being healed within. We have the Five of Wands in reverse, which is things settling down, the dust settling energy, things coming to a rest. With the High Priestess in the upright, that is the Hierophant's card, that is the Taurus card. It is the card of mentorship. It is the card of helping others. It is the card of government and the patriarchy and traditionalism. And I once learned that this is like the least popular card. And I'm like, really interesting to me, because it's also the card for having faith. And I've got this loss of faith over here, and I've got this restoration of it here. If you're like, I'm hanging on by my fingernails on the bitter edge, know that you're cresting a hill and gliding into smoother waters as you finish out October. Two Pentacles in reverse, the missing piece. Strength card in reverse is vulnerability. The Devil card in reverse is giving up habits, people, places, or things that are not serving your highest good. You have been working on resolving some things that, here's the thing, when you have all the success, when you have abundance flowing to you, it's actually harder to focus on truly healing the things that when you heal them, they stir up negative emotions. Like when people get into an abundant energy, they're like, I'm healed, bye, closing that door, see ya. And there's still stuff back there. And so sometimes things become elongated and journeys are delayed so that we can do all of our work, so that we can truly, when we do want to close that door because, happy days are here again, we're not dragging all of that negative energy we haven't dealt with yet. It will resurface. So that's why it's important to unpack all of that stuff and deal with it appropriately, understand it. And when we understand something, we are more than halfway to controlling it. The Chariot in the upright, moving on. Four Cups in the upright, Ace of Swords in reverse, cutting ties with some past difficulties. Your discontent is coming to an end as well. Knight of Cups in the upright, the Fool in the upright. There might really be a new relationship coming towards you. Two Wands in reverse. That can be making travel plans as well. I have traveling here too. Do I have anything at work that I need to know about? Frustrating beginning of the first week is like, oh. Take magnesium, it helps. Well, don't take magnesium if your doctor doesn't want you to, but magnesium and a couple of the other minerals can help with anxiety. Love the way the month ends. It's like the past is finally being released. Let's get some wellness cards on this. Regeneration by the book. Boy, things took so much longer than you want them to. That was about learning patience. The Temperance card in reverse is having patience with yourself and others is key to having successful relationships. Other people can be really frustrating. You have to learn to deal with your own frustration first in a way that was productive and helpful and healing. And it's not that another person can't honk you off to the extent that it's like, boy, I'm setting you on fire with my mind. But it's the difference between whether or not it spoils your energy. Because it's a fleeting thing, it's a flash. It doesn't take over and take root within you. When you recognize that it is not your energy, it is something that is being inspired within you, and you can choose simply to be like, I'm putting that flame out. Creating roots. That is the by the book energy. That is that grounding energy. That is that if you have long since believed, when I have enough money, I will simply be a happy person. It would have been temporary if you had not discovered how to simply be a happy person. And we can't buy it. It's within. There's very little that we can purchase in a tangible, I touch it way that will actually do our interior work for us. Adventurer, I think you're planning a trip with communication. Healthy communication is meaningful in all relationships, and I realize that I must express to others how I desire to be communicated with. I manifest people that will expand my thinking, make me laugh, and bring me happiness into my life. Lots of traveling cards. 8 of Wands traveling card. The Chariot is traveling card as well. And then like an opening of a road around the idea of relationships. And why were you maybe held back from that? It's in the key of the communication and learning how to have that control and understanding of self. Um, if you don't know how to communicate, if you don't know what you're feeling, it's really hard to communicate what you're feeling. So there's that. And then if you don't know how to communicate it productively, it can spoil a good relationship and fuel a bad one. So all of the things that you have been learning about when you don't have everything that makes you happy, you have to examine why you're unhappy. So it's partially that. What else are we going to get going here? Let's get some of the Endora fortune cards. Love that creating roots energy. Love the communication. The adventure is you're going to have more opportunities to be getting out there. If you felt like you've been sitting on a shelf for a long time, like the shelf is not there any longer. There's like a lot of expansion in October 2022 for you. And like I said, for some people, like I have like the opening up of vistas when it comes to relationships. That forbidden card, I really do think it felt like, the carrot before the horse thing, you can't ever get to the carrot. You weren't being punked, you were being guided. It just was it was a longer path than you wanted. All right, hindrance, there we go. Fate has blocked this path for you with that forbidden energy as well. The stars, a long journey brings rewards. By the way, I don't have that except for in the first week. Like something, I don't think your hopes tied up in it very much. I just don't. It's almost like something tries to go wrong and like it never gets to you, but you hear about it. The star, long journey brings reward. The raven, darkness looms on the horizon. We're not leaving it there. The queen, love and prosperity. Darkness looming on the horizon is we are headed into a slightly fractious energy. We've been talking about it for a really long time, so it's not going to come as too big of a shock to anybody. But it is, there are shifting energies and shifting powers within the world around us. Watch for more of that to be coming to the fore. We've been watching it build energy since about last February. Watch for it to be coming to the fore in multiple areas of the world throughout the closing months of 2022. It will be resolved by December, as near as I can tell, with the pitch beginning in the beginning of November, meaning it comes to a head then. And do I have anything to be scared about around that? No. If you're in this collective, you're a very protected person. And maybe that's what that, fate has blocked this path for you. All right, pardon me. I have allergies. What am I allergic to? I'm allergic to Oscar. Like just mildly. He's just this very allergenic dog. But whenever I'm constantly wiping my nose, and saying I have allergies, I love the people in my collective. You're the best souls. People will send me remedies, and it's like the dog. It's just my dog. Luck. And why do I have a dog I'm allergic to? Because I didn't know I was going to be allergic to him, and like it's not his fault, and I love him, and it's just like it just means that I buy a lot of Advil enzymes. Luck. You're right to be strong and optimistic about the opportunities ahead. With beware, be careful who you trust at this time. You got the gossip card and you got the servant card too. Anything else on that, guys? Star, you had star from the fortune card too. Hard times are over. Look forward to an abundance of happiness and positivity. Challenging beginning to the month and a beautiful end to it with possibilities for love for multiple people. Let's keep going here. I'm going to get your Island Wellness cards. What have we got from the Island Wellness cards? These are called the Love Oracle cards on most platforms now. Somebody finally clued in that, calling them the Island Time Wellness cards was not going to tell anybody what they were about because it's a love oracle. Very good for clarifying love reads. Many of the messages are, I'm not going to say harsh or punishing, but man, they don't mince words. So it's always fun to get it out in front of clients. This particular deck lost one of the cards early on to, I rolled over it with my chair energy. And I do have a new deck over there, but I've never missed the card because it's the Grim Reaper card. And there are other ways to convey that with like, that one's just too harsh to have come out in front of clients where they're asking about a relationship. And the Grim Reaper is like, it's over, no second chances. People hear things in the time they're meant to. That's like hitting them over the head with a hammer. We have acts, breakup, separation, stop the pattern, silent treatment, and abandonment. You're stopping a pattern. But that's what I mean. It's very like in your face. Here it is. This is the truth. Cassette, outdated thinking, conditioning, replaying events over in your head. Engagement ring. engagement, partnership, commitment, eternity, completion, and union, with coffee cup, meeting and conversing, savoring the moment, feeling uplifted, and friendship. I think a solitary time is coming to an end. I just think a solitary time is coming to an end. And no, you are not in solitary confinement like you had committed a heinous crime and were imprisoned. You were in a healing ward of sorts. Look at it that way. Like you, on the other side of a really, really toxic relationship that like became very abusive towards me at the end, like the last, I guess, 10 years of it. So for a while, it's a good thing I decided to stay single until I was healed. Because I have no idea how I would have taken that out on anybody I was involved in. But I wasn't okay. Am I now? Yes, I do believe I'm okay now. But it's only been within the last, I'd say about 6 months that I'd be like, yeah, no, I could tolerate having another person around without like, bringing baggage from the past. It's the easiest way to put that. Now, have I done that yet? No, because I'm pretty happy by myself. Here we go. We have stuck in the mud. That is the energy, the forbidden energy. The fate has blocked this past, unexpected visitors. I think that there are multiple opportunities in particularly get past the 7th. And why is it the 7th? I don't know. Maybe retrograde's ending or something. And I didn't look that up before I got on here today. I apologize. But it's like a plug is being removed from a drain and some sticky energy is being drained away. And spirit of place, and then intention. Spirit of place. We live in the energy we create. That does not mean if things are going wrong, you're doing something wrong. And particularly pile 1, I really, 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 really went into that. Where why do things sometimes come along and seems like nothing can go right, nothing can go right? Because you need to heal within to have this whole resonant, connected flow, which is not disrupted by trauma or pain or that disrupting, shorting energy that comes with not being able to control our feelings. That's the way to retain manifestations, is to have this steady flow around it. So that's why sometimes like the world around you is like, it's like, I can't, even though I'm trying to manifest the best life I can, all I keep, oh, look, the carburetor just fell out of my car and the cat blew up. Like it feels like nothing goes right. It is because the universe does not just give you what you want. The universe makes it possible for you to enjoy what you want. And you learn valuable things about yourself when nothing is going your way, and yet you still keep going. It teaches you self-worth, resilience, confidence. It teaches you control, which is not repression. Emotional repression makes people sick. Understand your feelings and let them out in the ways you need to. Journal, sing, dance, scream, yodel, whatever. Try not to take it out on other people. Don't take it out on yourself. But having emotions is part of what gives life resonance. And ignoring negative emotions and pretending everything is great when it's not is just causes compounded pain, trauma, and holds everything back. Deal with the stuff and new stuff will come to you. The thinking man, who are you? Happy family, journey, rest and relaxation, and then anxiety. I'm not taking anxiety on that one. 0 supports that. Journey, rest, and relaxation, happy family, and the thinking man. Happy family can be meeting somebody who already has had a family, or you're blending families. The thinking man is this very mental energy. Here's the thing. I think you're getting ready for another commitment. And you might not have had one for a while. Now, if you're happily paired up and you're watching this, all it means is this part of the message is not for you. That's all that would ever mean. There's take what resonates, leave what does not. And there's something around the importance of planning a leisure activity to try and open up some new doors for new experiences. We're also going to get some teacher's deck. Link is in the description box down below. Here's my monthly plug for her wonderful deck. And yes, I sound silly when I read it, but it's a dead on read. It just is. Oh, well, which is saying screw it, basically. Learning how to like get that energy down. Like when something goes wrong, and like yesterday for me was just like, created for things to go wrong. And like, honest to goodness, by the time like the 4th thing was happening, I was like, oh well. Like, and it really, and like even by the 1st time, I wasn't losing my stuffing over anything. Just because it was like, it'll be all right. Like something else will happen that'll make it all right. And that's just the energy that we kind of learn to inhabit. We don't overinvest in the difficulties at the moment. We don't define our lives by the things that are going wrong. And we are more than just our trauma and the bad things that have happened to us. We can heal from everything, and we can reclaim ourselves, our power, and our path. Know you know better. Birds, which is this gossip energy. I'm telling you, somebody is going to try and get your tongue wagging about things you know better than to talk about. And nothing bad's going to happen with it. I don't think I got the first group's romance angel, which I apologize. It is safe for you to love. Okay, we have codependency as the first one. Most of the people in my collective are healing from codependency. It's not an insult, and it comes in varying degrees. Is it a form of addiction? Sort of. It can be a form of compulsion. It's need-based love. And most people in patriarchal and traditional societies are programmed, societally programmed, to think they need love. And so it's not anybody's fault. But confronting it and healing from it and being like, I only have the people around who I want to have around. I only have relationships with people who are treating me right. I don't need somebody by my side. That way, I never let the wrong person linger there too long. That is the worth of, and what is the cure for codependence? Independence is the cure for codependence. The Eight of Wands decided to leap at that one. It is safe for you to love. You've healed. With keep an open mind, your soulmate may differ from your usual types and expectations. I think you have a wild card in the romance department trying to come to you. And I don't think we got these. No, wait, we did. We didn't. We did. We did. We're getting them again. Why? Because I can't remember. It's that simple. If we get different ones, that'd be funny. If we get the same ones, that'd be funnier. I kind of don't think I got them. Let's go. What do we got for group number 2 on the for messages of love? Longing. Someone is secretly yearning for you. I'm a keyword reader on that, so that could be you longing for a relationship. Friendship and abundance. And we have multiple cards of friendship as well. Remember, when you have worked really hard to heal from toxic relationship dynamics, it is almost preferable to approach relationships as friendships first. And not everybody will be willing to do that, but it really helps fuel healthier connections. So perhaps keep it in mind. And it does appear that you have an opportunity to take some kind of trip, and that even if you're not meeting somebody on that, it's like it breaks through a cycle for you. All right, I have in the near future. I think this one's about relationships, and then property. Could be that you've been hoping to change residences or homes, and you are being told it is not as far away as you might think. Okay, group number 2, timestamps will be edited in after the broadcast, but that was the Spirit Guide Monthly for October. I love the energy. Again, please listen to this part. Like if you're like, I cannot take this has been endless, this is just September and every other month before it, elongated and never ending. It's like the dam breaks on things coming to you past October 7th. And I wish I understood why it's October 7th, but I don't. But it's like something's over there yelling it in my ear. So it was good to read for you guys again. I will see you in, oh my goodness, November. All right, take care, be well, everybody. Timestamps edited in after the broadcast. I think I'm getting everything I'm supposed to. My wonderful old warhorse of a deck that could read 300 people and get it all clear, and I don't know why, the Thelema deck. Why do different decks have access to different guides and different energy? I don't know. It's color balance, it's art, it's the reader themselves, it's the guides that talk to us, it's access to the other person's guides as well. And it's access to that person's higher self. And sometimes like I have a deck that is the traditional Magna deck that I can barely use. Like I can use it for career reading. That's too harsh an energy for it. It's got anime illustrations on it. And it's not childish, but it's very romantic. So I use it for relationships. That's just the type of reader I am. All readers have a different relationship to their decks. Oh, it's a miracle. I remember to put the actual tabletop out. Number 3, here we go. Timestamps after the broadcast, said it 14 times, might say it again, I don't know. Feel joy in all you do. It's such a happy feeling month. Like happiness is accessible in a way it has not been in this month. I think this month was grueling for a lot of people. Letting go. And then intuition and manifestation. Intuition on fire this month for absolutely everybody. Try some cord cutting meditations just to release any doubts you have around following your intuition. It's not about relationships. It's that anxiety like fooled you one too many times and you have trouble trusting your intuition. I'm always telling this to my clients, so I'll put it in here. The difference between intuition and anxiety is intuition gives you information. It is actionable. It is informative. Anxiety asks you questions and freaks you out. What will I do if this? What if that happens? What if it has a what if attached to it? Not intuition, anxiety. Work on your root chakra for anxiety. I was telling group number 1 as well. A brown noise generator helps soothe and still a racing mind. They developed it for people with ADHD, but it works beautifully for people with anxiety issues. Angel answers and cookie cards. Angel answer, the premise behind that is that if you have a question that I did not answer throughout the course of this reading, then hopefully the angel answer will. And if it doesn't, I guess you're supposed to come see me for a reading. We have Messiah, light attributes, serving humanity with humility. There's a being called type of energy in October as well. Remember, end of the month is the Dias de los Muertos. It's the All Saints Day. It's the All Hallows Eve. It's the loud choppers outside again. Expect enhancement in your abilities this month because the veil is thinning all the way through till then. And what does the veil thinning mean? It means that our realities are always coexisting. There is more to this world than we can see. That is what like everything I do is based on. You can go with the 3D interpretation of the here and the now, and like people who laugh at what I do are like, there's no proof of that. And it's like, well, you know, maybe reality is just more complicated and complex than you believe it to be. Maybe there's more going on. And if you look for the meaning, you will find it. It's not make-believe. There's simply more layers to reality than we believe there to be. And at that particular time, the layers are thinning as we come to the end of a growing cycle. That is really what, All Hallows Eve is about, is the end of a fertile growing cycle, and the world becomes dormant throughout the winter months. The fall and the winter that allows everything to rest, to regain power, to regain focus, to regain drive. It is a time of contemplation and spiritual expansion. Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. Addict, light attribute, helps you recognize and confront addictive behavior. Hey, listen, let me talk about it really quickly. We misunderstand what addiction is at a societal level. Addiction is not just a disease, and it's not always a disease. Sometimes it is a compulsive behavior inspired by trauma. People who are in a great deal of pain, seeking pain relief from destructive sources rather than productive sources. At its root, that's what addiction is. Particularly trauma survivors, particularly abuse survivors, particularly childhood abuse survivors of all different walks of life have a tendency to love their routines and their patterns because they are compulsively seeking that routine they were denied as children. Routine gives us a sense of safety. However, in adults, being wedded to your routines actually blocks as much and causes more destruction than it does safety. Being wedded to routines, being against change is the thing that allows people to linger in toxic and damaging relationships and situations. So when you get a card like addict and you're like, hey, I am not sticking anything up my nose and my veins or anyplace else, it is not talking just about our societal understanding of addiction. It is talking about the things that we do that are detrimental to us rather than beneficial to us. And we all do them. And when we recognize the patterns, if, like me, you have a form of OCD, because I do, I have to choose healthy patterning, like the way I eat, or exercising, or even journaling in the morning. You can take that need for structure and put it into a healing practice, and then that will kind of shore up everything you're trying to do. And then the shadow attribute is compromises integrity and honesty, allows an addictive pattern to have authority over your inner spirit. It only feels like it's dulling pain when it does involve substance. Now, cannabis, interestingly enough, can connect you to a higher realm because it's not part of a darker energy. It is not a central nervous system depressant in the same way that alcohol and many other things are. It's also not truly addictive. It's compulsive for some people. So there are some substances that people can use. But if you are trying to escape your feelings with alcohol or anything else, or eating, or any of the destructive things that you're taking in something that is not beneficial to you, examine that. it will actually make things worse. Even if in the short term, it's like, this is the only thing giving me relief. It is a Band-Aid rather than it's covering a wound that never closes. Instead of being like, you know what, the only way to confront this is to be in my right mind, take a look at that wound, clean it out and heal it. And then you don't need it anymore. All right, I have beauty. What a beautiful card from the Goddess of the Moon, which is enjoying the beauty of life, kind of enjoying the beauty of your journey, even if it's been a rocky one, because there's always the opportunity to look back and be proud of who you've been throughout adversity. And if you haven't been proud of who you are, then that's the easiest way to spot, what would I like to change? Don't judge yourself. We react from what we know. Sincerely, don't hide from things that you've done wrong. There's the answer to how to be happy in it. And all it involves is saying, I need to change that. We are not saying we're bad people when we admit we've been wrong. We're human people. Everybody's wrong sometimes. Examine the ways in which you sometimes get in your own way. And without needing to hide from it, knowing that you're lovable anyway, nobody's really judging you on high or within unless you are the person starting it. And don't care what other people think. You have no control over it. Sincerely, most people are judging somebody else or doing so because there's something they won't look at in their own life. We have be without malice, which that one's an easy one. Act from a place of kindness and compassion, even to those who have wronged you. Just try. It frees you from things that degrade your experience. We have High Priestess of Air. Oh, that's a fun one. That is spirit guide communications, access to particularly the goddess of the moon, Persephone, which is about abundance, but also Persephone is, of course, the wife of Hades in the underground, and it is the time where the veil is thinnest. This is one of the best times for moon magic throughout October, and that is for increasing intuition and magic abilities. Wake up call, that's a judgment energy. To the sea, taking some risk, can be travel as well, truth be told. So something with that addict card is like practicing, I think in addiction recovery programs, they call it like radical honesty. I guess the way I would differ from that is when you have no access to the past, but you can learn a great deal from it. So if you've done wrong in the past, or you don't like the way that you've been, like I said, I like my 20s, oh my God, I was like a savage. Nobody had bothered to raise me or socialize me. I was like a feral dog. And it showed sometimes. And for a long time, I was really like, oh my God, how did I not? Nobody told me, how was I supposed to know? I'm supposed to magically know stuff. And I did teach myself all of those things. But the only way that I was able to teach myself those things was to look back and understand, well, I was a product of my environment. Of course, I needed to learn to do things because the only things I was taught were very destructive. And I take full responsibility for everything I ever did, but the biggest responsibility you can take is changing. And that really wipes your slate clean. And if other people don't accept the way you've changed, well, that's on them. It's not your problem. You can't control how other people think, but you can control your relationship to self. And that's the truth be told into the sea. You will move on from difficulties when you're able to understand that there is a benefit to looking at yourself honestly and recognizing I have gotten in my own way. Like for me, oh my God, my taste in men, atrocious. Just not, I don't mean like I'm like writing letters to serial killers type of things, but like, and not to mock that, I just mean it wasn't quite that level of trying to see the good in somebody who is harmful. Those are usually abuse victims, by the way. Don't judge them. They had to learn how to only see the good in somebody because we all need to feel love. They're almost always abuse victims. Is it pitiable? Yes. Should it stir your compassion? Yes, but it's not something to be mocked. The way I was getting there is like, honest to goodness, I just, my taste in men was informed by not thinking I deserved good treatment because I didn't like myself very much. And was I some kind of terrible person? Actually, no. Like I kind of look back and it's like for how hard I am on myself sometimes, it's like I was actually also just a person who was continually trying to find a way to be better. So remember to have a balanced view of who you've been. And since you can't access that, you're safe in the past. That is one of the ways to stop a trigger that's happening is saying, I'm in the here and the now. That can't hurt me. That was long ago. I control me now. I know what that meant to me. I know what it did to me, but I know who I am now. And I know that I have control. I have power. Knight of Cups in the upright, not the first group to get that in the current card. I think a lot's happening personally. The Hermit in the upright, which is the Virgo card. It's also the soul searching card. It's also the healing card. It's the time alone to heal thyself card. King of Wands in the upright. We got some action. Four of Wands in the upright. Wheel of Fortune in the upright. Three of Wands in reverse. Many options being available. A feeling of peace within with this Five of Swords in reverse. It's like things aren't going to feel like a struggle. Like it's almost like you're getting the flow around like even the stuttering pace of 2022. 10 of Pentacles in reverse, external. Listen, the markets are going to be so weird. They're just going to be so weird. They're going to react to some conflict in the greater world. Things will eventually settle down. Don't overinvest too much stress in the moment. It will pass. And it's also a confusion card. Page of Pentacles in reverse, Justice in the upright. It's the Libra card, it's the divine timing card, it's the balance being restored, fairness, equity. Ace of Wands in reverse with the Six of Pentacles in reverse. An unfair situation is being corrected, but first it goes through some maddening permutations. Like honest to goodness, just kind of like take a wait and see attitude with greater developments in the greater world. Ace of Cups in the upright, Three of Cups in reverse, Knight of Swords in the upright. Well, that's 2 3s in reverse. And for once, I'm not seeing them as third-party things. Although if you're in a new relationship, like maybe make sure that you're the only person that the other person is seeing. And it's only for a new relationship, like you might have been dating like 3 weeks. Just make sure that if you think you're exclusive, you're really exclusive. That's the only warning one that I have on this. Otherwise, the 3s in reverse are concentrating on personal power sometimes, but it's also an end to an isolated energy. Everybody's been getting that. It's like, I don't know, like the glass dome is being lifted or something. The Hierophant in the upright, that's the Taurus card, traditional marriage, faith, mentorship, school. It's this very like structured energy. 10 of Cups in reverse, 2 of Pentacles in the upright. A lack of fulfillment and a feeling of being cheated is what just came through. A past feeling of being cheated will be made right. Queen of Wands in reverse. Lots of like, be careful, trigger, trigger, trigger. That's sprinkled throughout October. The first, like the group just before you was through the 7th. This is like, and you're not going to notice them. It's all going to be in retrospect that you're like, well, that like 2 years ago, that would have made me lose my hair. And instead you'd be like, oh, hey, you know, that was challenging. Your challenges will be effortless now. The one things that used to derail you like are barely, they glide by more easily. High Priestess in reverse is clarity. Death card in the upright can be a Scorpio. Can be closure, can be new beginnings. This is very, very particular. I'm gonna like go into it, even though it is not likely to apply to a bunch of people. There is an opportunity for you to essentially feel as if you're connecting to a spirit of somebody that you personally lost. And in order to forgive and release some anger around it, honest to goodness, there's this feeling of a different kind of closure. And you're not holding that spirit back, although I do believe they're lingering. It's like you're able to meditate and ask, this is definitely an ancestor, like very close in. Like, so I could be a grandmother, could be a mom, could be is it a female energy? Not necessarily, but like it has the divine feminine energy with it, with that High Priestess in reverse. You're putting something to rest in a very positive way around something that caused you grief in the past. Proposal, a romantic or business opportunity is indicated, Snake. Use your intuition and healing powers, and they will guide you to a better path, but be careful. Death. So the Scorpio season is looking very, very interesting. A time of natural transition and transformation. For people who are trying to do ancestor work, particularly around the spiritual days that we have coming up, know that you have enhanced access, and that prepare for that. Like prepare for that with like a full thorough cleaning of your home to get rid of all the energies. Clear your space, sage, Palo Santo, incense, sound bowls. Those are the broken record about clearing your space. And know that there is an opportunity to release something across all time and space. That's just basically what I'm getting. And what is it? I think it might be an original sin type of energy on somebody who traumatized you. All right, here we go. Meaning the origin point of your trauma. The black cat, your luck will soon change. The moon, you will be guided through darkness. The griffin, honor and good luck. Good luck energy around you. The only little warnings that I have to do with making sure that, again, new relationship city only, that if you are seeing somebody, be careful. I have two different cards of a third party being involved there. Brand new relationship, like sincerely. There is no true emotional investment here. Like the most I'm getting here is like, I think I might like that person. And I think there's still somebody. They may not be focusing on you. And if that matters to you, then let that inform your actions going forward. But there's a lot of love energy in this pile. Here we go. Let's get going for the Infinity Oracle. 1 and 2 and 3, and it's the threes in reverse that are telling me that. Remember, I don't make the future, I read the future. There's a difference. Busy and distracted, regrets. Separation, that's that energy. Like releasing, you know what it is? It's a generational curse. It's a generational curse. You have the opportunity to release a generational curse at the Day of the Dead, at the end of the month, at the time the veil is thinnest. It's a generational curse. Basically, you get with your guides and you ask them to take away this energy that you did not earn, but you have been suffering from and you've been trying to make amends for. And you ask your guides to communicate with the guides of the origin of the curse, and they will almost always release it because they don't want the karma. And then open up, and it will open up all new boundaries for you. I just did some of that work the other day, actually, releasing some generational curses. Do I have a generational curse? Yeah, I think my family did. Does it any longer? No, I'm the curse breaker. There we go. Which is a weird thing to do, by the way. Like a weird role to fulfill in a generational cycle. Because it does mean that you're like the soul that steps up and is like, come at me, get me, fine, I'll take all of them. But you win. Let's go for the Endura Fortune cards. 1 and 2 and 3. All right. I have the spirits, unseen forces watch over you. I already did these. I beg your pardon. You had the black cat and all kinds of things. So we're going to stop. You have great access to spirit guides in this month. We're going to get your love cards. Let's go for pile number 3. The only thing with doing these long reads back to back like this is that by the 3rd and the 4th pile, I'm like, did I get these for that pile? Did I get them? I remember touching that deck. So sometimes they'll be exactly what just happened, where I'm like, yeah, I picked up the deck and I was like, wait, I already did these. All right. I have awakening. Someone is undergoing a spiritual transformation, longing, lesson, release. I'm telling you, and then we have regret again. If you have the belief, and you can look at your own family history and really try to figure out pretty easily, have you always been poor? Have you always had ill health? Does everybody in your family end up spending decades alone at the end of their life? That's a generational curse. And the way that we release those is by going towards our higher self constantly, trying to be the best version of ourselves that we can be. And then honestly, doing meditations too. I like generational curses when I pick them up in readings, not because, yay, curses, but rather they're the easiest to break because the power is usually within the hands of the person who is cursed. They simply have to lean in on doing their work, find their purpose, be their highest self simply. It's a lot of work, but it's possible. You're not at the whim of that fate. Protecting treasure. And then you just kind of, you do that work, you do the healing, then you get with your guides and you're like, hey, you can look at me, you can look into my heart, you can look into my intent. I would never have wronged you in this way. And if I had, I would have made amends. Please release me from this burden. I am carrying somebody else's burden. And the reason that it works is that the reason a curse can take hold and be carried forward is it's almost always warranted. And so the energy builds and builds and builds. But the reason the guides of the person who, or because remember, time of fluid structure, it's not linear. You can still reach back through time. The reason that it works to appeal to them on that level is that it clears their own karma and solves the problem for them if they're not injuring innocence, which is what the origin of like that kind of curse work can be. It's like, you did me wrong, now I'm going to screw you up for 10 generations. Which, don't do that work. Like, sincerely, it will always involve something that nobody actually did to you. And you will eventually end up releasing it after making other people suffer. And will you carry that karma? Yeah, you will. There's no way around it. So, like, you know, the only form of curse that it's okay to do is a divine justice, where you're like, I feel that others will be injured by this person, so I hand this over to the divine, saying, balance this karmic scale, preferably within my lifetime, because like I can't rest till I see justice. Wide open, protecting treasure, wide open, sad embrace with coming apart, and then solitude. I think that your generational curse might be around depression, around heartbreak. It's like a heartbreak and despair curse. And that it should have like come in waves over and over again, leading to toxic relationships. Doing the work to have self-love, that's that solitude energy, and the coming apart energy, which is that independent energy. Doing the work to heal that is one of the things that will free you from those energies. Did I get you? Busy and distracted. I did. All right, we're moving on to the energy cards, then we're going to get to the Island Wellness cards and the Romance Angels. Part of my problem is that I, use 5 million Oracle decks because I like them. They just help tell a story. That's what a keyword reader does, is the narrative is constructed for their interpretation through keywords. Contract. The soul contract energy. Hey, group number 3, this is actually really important. If it sounds like there's not a lot of other events, this is a transformative event. That's the work you should try and do. That's the work you should try and do, is release me from all forms of generational curses. Because you've got one on you and you kind of know it. And like your whole life can be transformed. Angel of love. With blossoming abundance, the garden, and the gate. The contract that you have is you're likely, and remember, like energy will attract like energy. So people in collectives always have something in common. You are likely the curse breaker within your soul tribe. There we go. Oh, the sun was there as well, which is about healing and positivity and new beginnings and joy and positive vibes and good times. Don't neglect that, even if you're like, hey, things have actually been going really well. I'm feeling very powerful, very healed, very guided. Just commit to doing that half hour's work of meditative work to try and make sure that you have been freed from any ties that bind you that you did not earn. Kisses, unconditionally loving, giving and receiving affection, love, and abundance. That was not today, but like we're leaving that guy alone. You have beautiful, beautiful, beautiful energy. Group number 3, please do that generational work and free yourself from anything that might be lingering and or hanging on. We're getting your romance angel, then we're going to move to the angel answer and the cookie card, and we're going to get on to pile number 4. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Very soon. Group number 3, you're going to be getting busy. Lots and lots of fun, happy, sexy, flirty, good times. Lots of fun. Like, that's the thing that's really here, is that an unfair situation will be corrected. Oh, that's also the generational curse. Remember, it's also global energy potentially cast upon the feminine divine. So keep that part in mind. And does it involve Persephone? Yes. Persephone was actually... all right, so if you do not know the myth, here's the deal. Hades kidnapped Persephone and took her down to the underworld to make her his wife. That did not sit well with various entities, and someone was sent in to retrieve her, basically. And while she was there, she ate the seeds of a pomegranate, which meant that she belonged to death for these fallow seasons of the year and would have to return there. That is what happens as we go into the winter months, into the time when the land lies still and fallow and everything is not growing. Persephone returns to the underworld. And so that is part of the feminine divine. The high priestess is Persephone. And that is why it is a uniquely targeted and powerful time to address any particularly love or emotional curses. All right. Your angel answer is ask your angels. What are you supposed to ask your angels for? To get with that person's guides, to release you from all across all time and space, any curses cast upon you or your family. You are living in your highest energy and reaching towards your highest self. You mean them no harm, and therefore they have no right to interfere with you. And that honestly is like what you can meditate on. And like not in an angry way, in a like, could you let me go away? There we go. Because it works. And then beauty. Lots of love energy after that. Lots of love energy. Very good time. Like I said, throughout the month for you is a sprinkling of like poking at you. But it's only in retrospect that you'll be able to look back and be like, oh yeah, that did happen. And please pay very close attention to that, because that is an indication of how healed you are. When you're like, yeah, you know what? Oh, that actually, I guess when you mention it, that could have like derailed me and caused me to spiral and be triggered and weep and cry and then eat ice cream for 5 years. It's progress, it's growth, it's expansion. Even if you're seeing it in retrospect, it's still very meaningful. Let's get going to file number 4. Timestamps will be edited in after the broadcast today. As always, I said that like maybe it's different sometimes. It's always that way. Celestial deck. Like I said, bringing out the old standbys for this one. Why? I don't know. Just felt like it. Your angel answer and cookie card. The premise behind this is if you have a question, I end up being very repetitive on this one. I'm shooting it back to back, but you know, typically people only see one file. The premise behind the angel answers is if you have a question I didn't answer, hopefully that card will. And the cookie card is usually just for fun, but it also tells you about the energy this month. Here's the wisdom oracle saying, imagine, good work manifesting, never ending story and imagine. I'm always reversing these two. Oh, you've got something manifesting. What is it? The healing light, family, friends, and guides. Your archetype cards, which indicates the shadow work that is available to you. Quite frequently, it's like connection to higher self and then the shadow work, because everything contains its opposite. Light attribute is ability to experience and express life through stories and symbols, but the shadow attribute is making up tales that harm others. In particular, if you're in a writing field, what an awesome month for things coming true. This is something manifesting. This is also something manifesting. I love the healing light as well. Particularly if you're working in healing fields, look for a lot of progress in your career. Here's the monk nun energy. Light attribute is selfless devotion and single-minded dedication to spirit. It's group number 4. Of course, you're going to get this. It's the mental energy of air, and it has a tendency to be the most isolated. Shadow attribute is negative judgment of the physical world and excessive piety. You are here as a human soul in this 3D world for a finite amount of time. Don't have disdain for this experience. It is wonderful, even in it doesn't always have to be joyous to be wonderful. Meaning that the fact that we can feel such range of things, that we can be at the depths of despair and then experience joy not that long after, is something that is truly wondrous. Invest in this existence. The non-corporeal existence is literally without end. This has an end date on it. Don't try to leave it behind before it is your time. Your goddess energy, goddess of the moon, is willpower and manifestation all over this. Storyteller, monk, and nun. You might feel very inspired to withdraw into self to do a lot of creation on like passion projects. Allow yourself that. Reveal your truth. It's almost like it's time to tell your story. Death is an illusion. This is very, 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 very true. The fledgling, it's like spreading your wings and flying energy. Tune out distractions. So group number 4, you're always fascinating because you break the pattern. It looks like you will have plenty of time to access your inner world and create throughout the month of October. You've got a lot of flow going through you. There is something in your personal story that fuels these, like, again, this creation, this passion project, this interest. Almost everything I do around healing tarot is because, I was a trauma survivor, and frankly, the resources for people with complex post-traumatic stress disorder were almost non-existent. They're a little bit better now, but part of the reason I focus on it so much is it is the most difficult thing for somebody who's not experienced it to understand. But once you understand it, like, you get this very key view into how to heal it, because it can be healed and it can be managed, and it will not define the rest of your life, and you can be free. You are not broken, you are dented, and you can take the dents out. 7 of Wands in the upright is overcoming adversity. It's a little bit of a struggle energy sometimes. It's holding the high ground. First group had that as well, where there was this, there will be a high road, there will be a low road. Please take the high road. You will continue your progress that way. And it's okay if you backslide sometimes. Just be aware of it. Do the work afterwards. I have the Prince of Swords in reverse, which is an electronic communication. It can be research as well. Chariot in reverse. You've got a cycle ending, group number 4. Let's keep going on this. 1 and 2 and 3. 5 of Pentacles in the upright in the recent past. Now that can be a downturn of fortune. It can be anxiety. It can be ill health. It can be feeling left out. It can be feeling isolated as well. I have the Lovers in reverse, which is being whole within. It's like you had to learn how to be kind to your shadow self rather than resenting its existence. Remember, that's the part of our personality that was formed in trauma. Don't be ashamed of it and don't scold it. Take care of it, and be kind to it and encourage it. And don't let it get away with crap, but encourage it. Meaning, like, you did great there. I know you're really anxious, but you tried anyway. And why is it important to talk to yourself in use statements if you're recovering from particularly CPTSD that was put into place by long-term formative abuse, meaning your childhood was abusive? The reason that it's simply so important is that, maybe I'm not supposed to say that. All right, I'm not supposed to do that work for you. I'm sorry. I just kind of got to, like, no, not that path. Okay, so the reason that you're supposed to be kind to your shadow self is quite simply that it is an injured part of you, and it learned to be defensive. And if you are kind to it and speaking to yourself in use statements, it's because you need to hear that. It's the missing voice from your childhood, the part of your foundation that was never formed to never give you stability, self-worth, self-confidence. And that is what's missing in most codependent people, is an ability to believe in self. So that's why speaking to yourself in use statements when you are trying to heal, you're doing great, I'm proud of you, you look great, you're so brave, is very, very important, because it fills in an emotional need that was neglected for you. It's just that simple. All right, have the 4 of Wands in the upright. What is going on now? Okay. I want to get more cards on that before I start talking about this. The Magician in the upright. I have the Emperor in reverse. 4 Swords in the upright. Justice in the upright. Divine timing. 6 of Cups in the upright. The Hanged Man in the upright. 8 of Swords in the upright. The World in the upright. I will start talking about the cards again. I have something very interesting here, and I just kind of want to get all the cards down before I blather about it forever. 7 of Pentacles in the upright is a process card. Oh my goodness. 2 Swords in the upright. Prince of Wands in reverse. 10 of Cups in the upright. Well, that's a happy and fulfilled energy. 10 of Swords in the upright. 4 Pentacles in reverse. 7 of Swords in reverse. Death in the upright. There is a final chapter on a twin flame relationship. Now, does that mean that something's being closed out? No, not necessarily. For some people it will, for some people it won't. For some people, a new, like, forget chapter, it'll be like the sequel is opened and new things are written. But the end of a dysfunctional part of potentially a twin flame connection is on the horizon for you. And it will take different forms for different people. But I have you feeling very happy and fulfilled. I have justice being served as well to somebody who you see as having greatly wronged you or others. And you will be very pleased with that. It will free you. It will free you. Again, it's so individual. It will take different forms for different people. What else have we got on this? You will have, you're an interesting group. Frequently you have better access to your guides in writing. You might channel as part of it and you're not aware of it. That stream of consciousness is your guides adding in things. When I tell people to journal, I tell them to go back and read what they wrote at different points. There are guide messages in there. They communicate with us through our stream of consciousness. Write about your feelings, write about your experiences. It does help you receive information, it puts you in a receptive state. Also gets you in touch with your feelings, which is half of the way of learning to cope with them. Interesting month, kind of a little like, paint by numbers, everything's going along, no deprivation, picking up speed towards the end of the month. And then the death card as well at the end, which is new beginnings. It can be closure. I don't think it's closure there. Phoenix, be prepared to be renewed after a period of crisis. Love, a lot of love energy around October. Love surrounds all of your connections. Move forward positively in all areas of your life. Resolution, for some, that will be, I see you as I have never seen you before and I am free from you. Because sometimes the twin flame connection is actually not, it's not the lifetime to end up together, and it's a karmic connection. It's a karmic lesson, a karmic relationship. That only becomes part of how we recognize it when we're ready. So like if you're hearing that and you're like, no, then it's don't worry, this part isn't for you. It really is, this message is for people who are like, why'd that happen? I feel completely different. I don't even know what I want from that any longer. And it's like, well, those are the perfect conditions for something to finally make more sense to you. I hope that makes sense. So what should I do here to make sure I'm not accidentally tripping over these decks all over? I'm going to do them in this line. There we go. Let's get your messages of love, which will be a little bit out of order for the other groups, but it's like about the only way I can make sure that I don't repeat the oracle decks over and over again. 1 and 2. What do we got for pile number 4 from their messages of love? This magician and this abundance, friendship, past life love. Not all twin flame connections are romantic. There is such a community feeling around this with this 10 of Cups energy. A feeling of, like I said, you withdraw into self and create easily, but you feel more connected to others than you have in a long time. And then I have this, like, I have an energy of somebody who, and remember, if you're a very evolved soul, you have more than one twin flame. But I have a resolution on a confusing period of your life where you have great understanding. It's like an epiphany. The fledgling, that is like the bird that learns to fly. You're just in a new phase of your life. It's a good one. Yeah, let's go. I'm not going to say too much about that. And like when you've done your work, you don't need the guidance on the minutiae like that. You'll know what to do. You'll know what to do. Do you like any clues on when it's happening? End of the month, like you hear something around the 15th. Here we go. Let's get going. Heart with a key, welcoming love, meeting the one, open your heart, getting together. Perfect. I'll get the infinity oracle after that. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3. Oh my God, the ringing in my ear. Which is a spirit guide basically being like, you're on to something important. Kisses, unconditionally loving, giving and receiving affection, falling in love. That monk nun energy. Maybe it's time to quit being a monk. Coffin. Endings bring new beginnings. Listen, this is going to be very individual. So don't freak out because I have no grief, I have no pain, I have no wailing, I have no sorrow. but it's like there might be a literal ending as well. And I get that sometimes. And like when I got it a few months ago, like there really was a literal ending of somebody for somebody I knew, and it wasn't painful. And that is the only time I will ever bring it up, is when I'm like, technically I have a couple of things here that it's like, that's a complete cycle that might be a complete cycle out of life. The runner, and then keys on a ring, which is many options. Many options in the runner. I had some resolution on twin flame stuff for people who technically, like, you're in the last leg of the healing journey. We're just going to get all of your love cards, and we're going to finish up with your healing cards, and then we'll get your ask your angels and cookie card. Why? Because I got going on the love cards, and it feels weird to be like, let me just dip back into business for a moment. No, we'll go back to your personal relationships. Let's go for group number 4. What's the romance angel? Religious factors. Your love life is influenced by your religious upbringing and spiritual path. Your love life may have been influenced by your spiritual path. Remember, twin flame connections are there to help us heal, to help us illuminate the parts of ourselves that keep us from true and resonant connection. When you heal and your twin flame heals, the connection is like no other. But sometimes you heal and you need to release the twin flame who's not doing their work. And I don't know which one of these that is. I don't. It may be individual for each person. But that is what the spiritual path is. Your love life is influenced by your spiritual path. So often I will meet people who met their twin flame, and then they kind of went on one of the most exasperating and like tension-filled journeys ever, and sometimes heartbreaking. And they wonder what it was for. And it was always to help you find your highest self and to increase your power. It was never just to kick your butt. It was never to make you feel like you're broken and you don't have relationships either. It was to help introduce you to your divine self and give you a resonant feeling of connection, so that you won't need a physical 3D relationship to fulfill needs that are caused by injuries that you did not do to yourself. They're formative wounds. It doesn't mean that you don't connect with people in the 3D. It's just that you have that divine connection, that divine love, to fill that need that you used to look to other people for. That's all that means. All right, new friendship. End of a cycle. Good luck. I love your cards. Abundance is near. Well, apparently abundant energy and good luck surround you, group number 4. Hooray. Let's get your Endora cards. We're almost through here. Here we go. Let's get your Endora cards. What have we got for group number 4? I want to take one last look at your tarot before I get the angel answers card. Love, true love and fidelity. Love is just all over the place in this reading. The serpent, a sly and subtle approach is needed. And then the golem, a close friend acts on your behalf. Now, listen, and this will not apply to everybody, and remember, it's not a punishment. And if you're healed enough, it won't sound like a punishment. But if you've had difficulties with toxic relationships or codependent relationships, taking it slowly, approaching it first as like, well, we're friends, is very, very, it's the way to make sure that you don't overinvest too soon, which is one of the hallmarks of codependency. If you think you've met your soulmate 3 weeks in, you might have, but if hearing that you haven't is crushing, that's like a sign of that's overinvestment too soon. It takes a while to meet people. It takes a while to have the depth of a true connection. For the most part, the first 6 months of a relationship are fantasy and illusion, what we think the person is, and we expand on that picture in our mind. And that is not an insult. It's normal. It's normal, but recognizing it as like, oh, I think this is the one. I think this is the person. I think I'm so in love, but I need to wait and see. That's healthy. Like feeling the feeling, but not giving everything in your life over to maintaining it and retaining it. All right, ambitious. Something along that storytelling thing, lots of work projects effortlessly flowing through and coming to fruition. Best version, finances, and healthy. Good money energy as well. I'm not reading the keyword stuff on this. I will on the best version. Every day I'm growing into my full potential. Therefore, I'm becoming more extrinsically valuable to the world. So I will walk with arms wide to receive the challenges coming my way. At this moment, I am the best version of myself, and tomorrow I'll be even better. Even if you have room to grow and expand and become better, you can be proud of who you are if you are continuing to go towards that which is healthy and good and connects you more and more to spirit. It doesn't mean you're like screwing up or like not getting life right. It's just you'll be happier. You'll have a more resonant experience. You will see things with a greater and appreciative eye when you're connected in a divine manner. So, well, I just like this is the grouping I want to take a look at. There is the end of a punishing cycle in connection for you, in friendships and in romantic relationships. Like you will feel the gift of connection versus fear the damage of connection, because you've repaired the ways in which other people used to be able to damage you by being very self-regulating, self-caring, self-loving. I do have a family situation as well. And like I said, without it being a grief-stricken event, I have what may be for some people getting word that there is an end to someone's physical existence and it benefits you some way. And is it emotional or is it financial? It may be both. Okay. But it does not break your heart. Like I have no emotional turmoil on that table. And can that happen? Yeah. Like sincerely, sometimes people pass from this existence. And remember, death is an illusion. We got that death is an illusion card. It is. We transition to a different way of being after we leave this physical form, but there is something after that. And how do I know? Sometimes I talk to those, sometimes I talk to spirits through tarot card readings that are earthbound and trying to tell somebody something so they can move on. I don't do pure spirit mediumship. I don't. I could if I wanted to. I've chosen not to because I do not want to spend my time dwelling in that area. I like the healing energy and the expansive energy of the 3D and learning how to function in it in a vibrant and a vital fashion. And that is not to poo-poo spirit mediumship. It serves a role. Everything serves a role. Like even like, there are some tarot channels where all they do are relationship readings and it's a little bit fantastical and romantic and it touches a love space in us that is wonderful and beautiful. It serves a role. And then there are tarot channels that only focus on spirituality or being a starseed, or everything serves a role. We have access to different things. There are more than one thing going on at any point, and they're meant to be. We're actually great at multitasking. Not the right time. You got the divine timing card there up there. And then health. Not the right time in health. I feel like there's going to be an element of information on that one that it's of the personal, like it would need everybody's personal details involved for me to make any sense out of it. But there was the thing that I got was there is a reason. There is a reason. And that will be again very individual. I think it has to do with that twin flame thing. All right, that was the Spirit Guide Monthly for October of 2022. Much better month. September really was a challenging one. Great connections available. Lots of psychic gifts. Very close in. Like you barely have to like make an effort to have doors flying open and all kinds of things coming in. All right. It's great to do this again, guys. You have a beautiful month. I will see you.